Hello, my friends. It's Andy over at today's CBD Oil. And I had to come on after having a conversation with a friend of mine by the name of Mark Weissenberger. And he got me motivated to actually share this story because if you've been listening to my walk with CBD oil and how I was reluctant to use it. I finally started using it. I wasn't not a believer in the beginning. And then suddenly, like within hours, I began to believe that there was something to the CBD oil. And then I started sleeping way better. My blood pressure dropped considerably. My goal is to actually get off my medication, which I'm fairly close to being able to do that. And a whole bunch of other things. The pain in my shoulder, my neck has completely gone away. Again, these are the results that I have. I know that it's the CBD oil, 100% for me. None of what I'm telling you is, can I tell you without telling you that the FDA has not approved anything that I'm saying. I have to say that apparently because I don't want them to shut me down. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put a little disclaimer in there. Again, I just don't want my account being shut down because this is one of the things you have to do when you're talking about something like this. And of course, now I cannot put anything. I hate it when I love Be Live, which is what I'm using right now to broadcast to you live. I love it, except for on occasion, for some reason, you can't put comments in the platform. I have to go out of the platform to be able to do that. So I'm going to do that right now. Well, shoot, I don't want to do that either because now I'm going to lose my spot. Well, it happens every time, right? I go live and then I think I have everything all dialed in and it changes because of just certain things. It's the internet. That's the way things work. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the disclaimer here just to make sure that I do that. Don't want to upset anybody, Facebook or the government. I don't want the government coming after me more than they already are. All right. So there you go. So that's in there now. All right. And I'm sorry if it's getting a little foggy, it's because no, they've not been evaluated by the FDA, Jason Jordan. My statements, I did not talk to them. But I'm telling you that they've been evaluated by me. And the only thing I've changed in my life is CBD oil. And it is doing amazing, amazing things. So Jason P. Jordan, yes, my statements, what I'm telling you right now have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. All right. And so, however, okay. So, oops, somebody just called me. So, the thing that I've been reluctant to tell anybody, because, you know, when you begin to tell these stories, when I say them out loud, and I even listen and watch my videos that I've done, it's unbelievable that one thing added to your life, this HempWorks CBD oil, can be impacting so many things. And I don't understand it. And it's kind of like in some aspects religion. You can't really see it. You don't understand it. And so it's hard to believe it, right? Unless you're getting, which I've shown on camera before, the readouts from my Kaiser account, the emails I get from my doctor telling me that I'm no longer, having certain things that are going on, that they're all gone. Those things I'm more than happy to share. I will continue to do that. The pain, there's no way of me showing you how my pain is gone. I can just tell you that I can do things that I have not been able to do for years because of the pain has been so uncomfortable, unbearable. And so that I can just simply show you. But you're just going to have to trust the fact that I'm telling you that the pain is gone. I have friends that are texting me now, thanking me for doing these podcasts because they also are now sleeping better. Their pain is gone. I've seen people give me testimonials on the Falco Canine Academy page where it's helped their dog begin to walk around better, be a little bit more pain-free, and cause the dog to not have as much anxiety. I'm getting all this support from all these people that are telling me these things. So brings me to this very next thing that I'm going to tell you that when it happened, I, again, did not want to believe it. But, and also I didn't want to tell you that I had this thing because then people like Jason P. Jordan are going to say, oh my God, I didn't realize you were so old. But it has to do with gout. Now, I love to eat food. I love to eat all types of food. I love sushi. I love steak. I love everything. Right. And so, hi, Andy. Been a while. Hope all is well. Hey, Daniel. Nice to see you. And yeah, everything's good, especially now. Listen to my story. And so, yes, I have these occasional bouts with gout. And I've had them I got them as early as in my 20s, right? Because eating red meat and drinking red wine and you know, a little bit of alcohol here and there and this other stuff will begin to give you some gout. I know how old you are, you old dog. Thanks. See, I knew that was coming. That would have came whether I would have prefaced it or not. And it's painful. If you've never had gout, never get it, because it is the worst pain. And I've had it, unfortunately, probably 5 times, maybe 4 or 5 times. And the space at some points have been so far apart that I thought that somehow I broke my foot in the middle of the night, because the pain, I can't even walk the next day. I have to get like almost crutches or have people help me to my car because the pain is so intense. I get it in my foot, in my ankle, and in my toes. And so every time the onset has begun, which is the pain in the toe or the joint somewhere near my toes or somewhere near my ankle, as soon as that starts, it then increasingly gets worse. And then I have to go to Kaiser and get some medication, and they give me medication. And then over a period of days, the gout begins to go away. The pain is so intense that you can't even have your covers on your bed touching your foot. I have to lay with my foot outside of the covers, because just the touching of the material on my ankle or my toes is just so painful that I can't sleep. It literally is so painful. All right. So on Sunday, Mother's Day morning, I wake up and I can feel it coming on. My big toe and my left foot is beginning to be very painful. I'm walking with a limp already. And always the transition is the pain gets worse and then I can't walk. Right. And I'd already decided to take my kids to the Renaissance Fair, which we do every year. We go to the Renaissance Fair for like last 15 years or so I've gone. And I was ready to go. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, I got to walk around for 5 or 6 hours with this painful foot, and it's only going to get worse. And I love to go to the Renaissance Fair, have an occasional beer as we're watching the shows and going on the rides and having fun, you know, dealing with all the people in costume. And I'm just thinking, how miserable am I going to be when I get to the fair? So I thought, why not rub a little bit of this relief, which is CBD oil relief, which that's what I put on my neck and my shoulder to get rid of the pain, in addition to taking the 10 drops in the morning and 10 drops in the evening of the 750. I added, and I said, you know what? I'm going to rub the relief on my toe that's already in pain, right? And I rub it on there and I let it sit before I do anything else. And over a couple of hours, the pain disappears. But at the end of the day, it's now in my right foot. All right. So the pain that I know for sure is gout. Again, I've had this several times. It's not like I don't know what it is. It's not like I've never experienced before. I know what's happening. And I always think back, I go, oh crap, what did I eat yesterday? And the day before I had that red wine with the red steak and whatever else I did during the day and over the weekend. I had also just come from the Promote and Profit in San Diego, where I spent 3 days in a hotel eating nothing but steak and hamburgers and all that kind of stuff, right? So it all is those things that lead to me getting an episode of gout. And so I put on my left foot, the pain goes away. Yeah, be careful when you rub that, for sure. Of course, Jason. And so I had no pain during the day at the Renaissance Fair. Well, again, I come home, and then in the evening, I'm feeling now it's transferred over to my right. So the gout saying, all right, if you're going to put that stuff on me on your left foot, I'm going to go to your right foot. And again, the pain begins in my left foot, and I can see the redness, which is always associated because it's inflammation of the joints. It causes redness, almost like a bruise on your foot that I can visibly see as it begins to occur in my foot. And so I go, it worked earlier this morning. I'm going to put on my right foot. I put on my right foot. And in the middle of the night, I got up to go to the bathroom probably, or check on one of my kids who are sleeping. And as I get up, I'm already thinking, oh, that's going to hurt, because I remember I had it on my right foot. Pain is gone. So I don't know what to tell you. I was talking again to Mark Weissenberger today, and I was telling him, I don't even want to share it because it's so unbelievable. It is so beyond my thinking process that this little lotion that's in here, this little lotion that's in there that you rub and put it on there would take that pain away. It is unbelievable. And yet, I'm telling Mark, I go, Mark, because he was calling me and we were talking about some of the things that are happening. He goes, hey, I've been watching your CBD oil videos. And I said, yeah, I had this thing happen over the weekend. I don't even want to tell anybody, because it's like, if I tell them this, they're going to think I'm lost my mind, and that there's no way that these products can be helping your blood pressure, your sleep, your pain, discomfort, your gout, your whatever else it's helped me with. And the other things that I'm telling other people that it's helping with. Oh, anxiety. I forgot about that. That this helped me with the gout. And he says, dude, well, he didn't say dude because he's from Idaho and that's not how he talks. But he said, you know, you need to share it. You need to tell people about it because it's your story. It's what's happening with you, and you need to share it with people. And he says, what my thought is that it is because you've been now taking CBD oil for a long period of time. It just helped it all come together really fast. And so the impact that it's having is probably because it's in your system. And now as you're using it, it's working together to help things and cure things. Well, a cure, I hate to use the word cure because again, I don't want people to get mad at me or get in trouble by the FDA or the government or Facebook or what have you. But I know for sure that there was something that caused it to go away. Whether that's curing it, I can't tell you that it's curing it, but I know the pain went away, the redness went away, it gets swollen, my foot gets so swollen I can't even put on a shoe. None of that happened in the manner that it normally happens. And so he goes, you got to share it, you got to tell people, and it's probably because you've been consistently taking CBD oil, and that's why it works so quickly and so effectively for you when it happened. And then he said something which I want to share with people, which I go, I'm afraid, right? I'm afraid to say things. And then when he told me what he said about why it's working for me, he then said, the person that speaks with the most confidence wins. And so he goes, that's how I said that. And that's why it sounds really good, right? It's because I said it with confidence. And that's probably, at least you have that. Hey, Matthew Adams, nice to see you. Again, Brett, I'm praying for you and your family. I hope that things resolve themselves and get better for you. But Matthew Adams is my go-to guy for CBD oil questions. If you decide to message me about CBD oil and I don't know the answer, you'll probably see me connect you with Matthew because Matthew tends to have the answers. If he doesn't know, he knows where to look much better than I do. But that's Matthew Adams right there. So connect with him also in addition if you want more information from me. All right. So, oh man, I forgot to put up my transition here. So another CBD Oil Fix. I don't know, but I know that when I put the relief on my foot, that I could tell you 100% was the onset of gout. On Sunday morning, the pain went away. I was able to go to the Renaissance Fair, walk around normally, put on a shoe, do all the things I would not normally be able to do during the onset of gout. It then transferred to my right foot. I don't know how it does that or why, but I then put it on my right foot, woke up the next morning, gout free and with no issues. So is that another CBD oil fix? I think it is. For me, I think it is. Again, look at the disclaimer that I put in there that this has not been evaluated by the FDA. And only thing I can tell you is what my experience is and what I've experienced. And so that is it. If you want to hear more about it, you just can go to todayscbdoil.com. That'll take you to a video where you're going to see some research done by some brothers in how it helped a young girl and many others with a disability that the young girl had. And her name was Charlotte. And it's called Charlotte's Web is what they called the particular CBD oil concoction that they gave her. And I think you'll find it interesting. And then just opt in and then go ahead and get your products if you want. I also want to make sure and let you know that my goal is not for you to necessarily buy it from HempWorks and my URL and get it because I'm an affiliate. I just want you to know that CBD oil is making an impact on my life. And it may be something that you want to try. Whether it's mine or not, it's not that important to me whether you do or not. But what's important is that you see if it'll work for you. And it's much better than what we're getting out of the pharmaceuticals. One of the things that I talked to Mark again, this is the Mark Weissenberg show because we had a long conversation, is that, just simply months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, my thought process was, and I know this is foolish now because every time I say it, somebody goes, you really believe that the doctors and the medical care system, Kaiser Permanente, have your best interest in mind? And I did. I believe that. I truly, maybe I wanted to believe it. I think these guys have done, whoever's in, whoever my doctor is, which is a great doctor. I have a great doctor. He's gone to medical school. He's put in his time. He's studied, right, in order to know how to fix people. And I think most doctors, I think that's when they go in to begin to learn about being an MD, is that their goal is to do the right thing. And I think they really do. I think that there's something that happens with the company or the corporation of Kaiser and other hospitals like it, that there is an issue that comes about. It's all about money, right? Becomes more about money than it becomes necessarily about fixing the patient. Same thing with pharmaceuticals. I think the idea of coming up with some type of solution for a certain ailment is started based on the right premise, right? The need to help people and to fix people, but money always gets involved, right? And there's always something that will cause the process or the goal or the desire to change, because everything is supported by money. And that could be even the CBD oil industry, right? At some point, you're going to get into a company that it now becomes more about the money than actually in helping people. I don't think that's obviously where HempWorks is. I think right now they're making a great product. I'll share their site here for you. And what I like about what they have on there is the most powerful and potent hemp product on the market. Let me go ahead and get rid of this lower third really quick. Get rid of that. There we go. And so this is their website. And make sure, I think I'm on the right one. Hard to tell. Let me move it up and I'll tell you whether I'm on the right one or not. I have two tabs open. Yep. And so let me go back to it really quick. And so there just tells you what CBD oil is. It talks about the products, and it talks about how potent they are and that they are pesticide free, no GMO. They are organically grown on American farms. What else? Science and farming comes together in regard to how the CBD, the hemp seed, is grown in Kentucky. Federal legal limit is in the type that has the THC, and also they have 100% THC free hemp oil, and then have all the third-party lab testing, product certificates, and all that type of stuff. So there's again, I think this is a great company. But back to my story with what I was talking about, Mark, is that my interest in the beginning of CBD oil was blocked, or my lack of interest in CBD oil was blocked by my belief that the medical industry was really had my personal best interest in mind. And after I nearly died twice just from having a biopsy done. And the second time is really what got me, because I had explained to them before they did the second biopsy what had happened the first time they did the biopsy. And they told me that I was not, I was full of crap, essentially. That don't worry about it. What we're going to do has nothing to do with what happened last time. We have this. We've done it thousands of times. The fact that it happened to you is not based on the truth. You're believing that what's happened to you last time was because of that, but it didn't. And then sure enough, they get done with the biopsy, and it wasn't an hour later, I was back in the emergency room, bleeding to death. They had to give me a transfusion. There were arguments about how much blood to give me because I was bleeding so fast and so quickly. You had two doctors that were bickering about how much blood they were going to give me. I had to go to the restroom, and I got locked in the restroom. They didn't have a key to get in the restroom, in the emergency room. Go figure. They had to break into the bathroom because I passed out on the floor, nearly bleeding to death, and then drag my limp body out and put it onto a gurney and get me back into a room where they begin to give me more blood. And it was just a nightmare. All because I don't believe that they had my best interest in mind. And I had told them what happened the first time. And again, they decided that they didn't want to trust and believe me. All right. So that's when it changed. That's when I decided, you know what, Matthew, after talking to you, give me the URL to buy this stuff and let me see what happens. And then suddenly got so many things that are happening in a positive way. Let me give you one more thing here. And that is a testimonial that I just read. And that is just, again, to give you somebody else's perspective, not just mine. And I'm going to read it. You may not be able to see it very well on your screen unless you're watching on a computer. But let me go ahead and read this. This is from Peggy, and she writes, "I've started my journey on this amazing product after finally having enough of the pain and serious side effects I was having from the prescription drugs prescribed to me to help control the symptoms of my lung disease, sarcoidosis. I hate these medical names, which became active and started spreading, causing arthritis, anxiety, heart palpitations, chest pains, brain fog, and loss of vision. Also, I had tennis elbow in both arms from being a hairdresser, which I was receiving injections for that barely helped the pain. I also have suffered from acid reflux for years. After having my gallbladder removed, I was in bad shape. No kidding. Oh my gosh. Within 24 hours of taking CBD, I was almost pain-free from the arthritis and tennis elbow. After one full day on it, I felt complete calming. And after a week, my sight was better. My mind became clear, and no more heart palpitations while resting or anxiety. Not to mention, my skin cleared up, and I've lost 6.6 pounds. I sleep like a champ. I am now pill free. However, I still use inhalers. But recently, I did get good news from my specialist. My condition has stayed the same since the last visit, and the inflammation in my blood had decreased 50%. I am so thankful for this product. It has given me back my life. So how's that for a testimonial? I think that it is clearly amazing. I was going to put the URL if anybody wanted to join me on this broadcast. I guess I still could. Let me go ahead and hide or stop sharing my screen there. Just in case, I'm going to go ahead and put the URL. I'm so sad that BeLive is acting up right now and I can't put that in there. But here is the URL. If Matthew, if you're prepared, if you want to come in, oh wow, he just Matthew just put in a statement there. Matthew just wrote, where'd it go? My mother-in-law died because of sarcoidosis. Sarcoidosis is, I guess, how you say that. My lips and tongue don't work for some of these medical terms. Matthew, if you want to join us, if you can, I don't know if you can or not, but feel free to use that URL. Or if anybody else, Trina or Jason, if you want to come on and make fun of me, that's cool. I don't mind. If you have any questions, Danielle, if you want to come on, that would be awesome too. If you want to ask any questions, again, I don't know that I can answer the question specifically as it relates to CBD oil, because again, my knowledge is only what my experience is and what I'm learning as I go along. So I'll be able to try to help you as much as I can. And Matthew, thank you for putting that in there. The URL is in there. And again, if you want to order directly, I can give you that URL too. Just got distracted by something here. Hold on, let me look. I have a call coming up with Netflix. They want to do a documentary, so that call is coming in the next half hour. I just want to make sure of my time. So if you could, those of you that are watching, if you could put your hands together and give me a good prayer and saying, hey, let's help Andy, be featured on a documentary on Netflix, that would be great. And so that would be cool if that happens. I have that call. I get these calls every so often. I got one from CBS a couple of weeks ago. That turned out they wanted me to pay to be on CBS, but I've been on National Geographic, Animal Planet, and the Hallmark Channel and some other stuff. So this is an interesting call that came in yesterday from a show producer for Netflix, and they asked me to. They want to talk to me about being on a documentary. So that call should be coming up fairly soon. All right, so. I guess nobody wants to join me on this particular broadcast. I was just giving it some time, some people to get their cameras together and their mic together. But if you want here comes Matthew. I see him popping on right now before I leave and see what he has to say about this particular thing. I'll go ahead and take his lower third. I'll bring him up to the broadcast. Here you go. 3, 2, 1. Interesting call that came in yesterday from a show producer for Netflix. I can hear myself. And, they asked me. Hey, Matthew. So, soon. All right. I got to go off solo. There you go. I was being solo there for a bit. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Very good.
Hold it. I'm trying to close this one screen before. And
you just went green. just went green with envy. Where'd you go?
There you go.
Well, I can't see your picture, but we can hear you. You could be the voice of Matthew. Just refresh.
That's cool.
Refresh your.
I'm better sounding than I look.
How are you doing, my friend? Oh, there's a long delay apparently.
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
All right. Yeah. Um, so your mom passed away from that disease that I can't pronounce. Oh, there he just left. I wanted to hear a little bit more about what the disease is, just so I can learn about how powerful the CBD oil was for, I guess her name was Peggy. Is that correct? Yeah, Peggy. Because again, I go back to the unbelievableness, if that's a word, of how powerful this stuff is. But as I'm reading more and more and researching even more information about how this all works, is that the cannabinoids in our system just need to be repaired in some cases to help with fighting off inflammation and that type of thing. So it's not so incredible the more that I'm reading about it and learning about it, but it is incredible in the sense that it's just helping with so many different things. And when you go into the testimonials, I'm seeing so many results from people that have so many different types of ailments that it seems to be helping them with. Many of those I can't pronounce. All right. And so that's I don't know what's more amazing, that I have difficulty pronouncing certain words, or that it's helping so many things in so many ways. Okay, Matthew's going to give it one more shot here, and we'll try to bring Matthew on. I'm interested to know what his experience was with that thing. Oh, he's back to being green. Well, we'll give it one more shot. We'll see what happens as we bring him up. 3, 2, 1. There you go, Matthew.
All right.
For some reason, you're still green, but we got your voice.
That's good. No, by the way, that was my mother-in-law, and the disease is called sarcoidosis.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, that we lost her 3 years today. As a matter of fact.
So I'm guessing that it's not amazing to you, Peggy's testimonial, that the CBD oil helped her with this disease.
No, it's not. I've learned so much over the time span that I've been with the company, and not directly from the company. I mean, I sat down and I did research. And one of the things that I found out that may answer one of your questions, Andy, was that back in the day when the sailors went out, when they were out 6 and 7 months, they were getting sick. And what they were getting was scurvy. And the reason they were getting scurvy is because they were without vitamin C. And then upon returning to land, and they started taking oranges and fruits and stuff like that, they started to heal. So back in those times, those were the miracle, the miracle fruits and miracle vegetables, but nobody knew necessarily about vitamin C. And that's kind of like our bodies now. Our bodies are run on an ecocannabinoid system, right? ECS system. And what people didn't know is back in since about 1930s and up, we have been consuming mass amounts of cannabis, but we didn't know it. It was actually hemp. And what happened was the cows on the field were eating this cannabis, this hemp, in mass amounts. So this hemp and cannabidiol would be in our meat and in our milk. And then when all of that stopped, our ECS system was starving basically for cannabidiol. We weren't getting it. So you'll notice over the past, 30, 40 years, the super duper increase of things like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and kids with just had a brain fart. I was looking.
Does it help with brain fart?
Epilepsy and ADD and all of these things that were being, if you haven't noticed over the past 30, 40 years, the increase in these diseases. And it's because we're doing without certain supplements to our body that it requires to operate. Now, granted, we're not totally lost because there is cannabidiol or CBD in things like black pepper and other fruits and vegetables that we have, but it's in minute amounts. So
Right.
we've been getting what we need, but in such micro amounts that it really didn't matter.
And from what you and I have been talking about with other people and that kind of stuff, one of the things that it really seems to be helping with is any type of inflammation that people have from one thing to the next. And then
Exactly.
that's one of the most powerful things that it works for. And so when I think back now to on Sunday, when the onset of gout started to come on with me, and I'm telling you, I've had it enough to know exactly what it was and what was happening and what I had eaten and what had led to it and that kind of stuff, that it should not have been so amazing. Because the last couple of days, I've really been debating whether to come on to talk about, number one, I don't want people to think I'm this old crotchety guy getting gout. But I also was concerned, like, God, if I tell people now that it helped me with my gout, they're going to think I've lost my mind. But gout is simply an inflammation, as far as I know.
Right. And it does what the same thing that rheumatoid arthritis does.
Right.
Now, rheumatoid arthritis, it travels throughout your body.
Yep.
And it actually looks for areas that are weak. And weak as in, able to take on inflammation. Okay. It's kind of like it's an immunity. It's just a lower immunity in that area of your body.
Wow. It was amazing because I when it starts, it starts and I just thinking this is going to be, I hate it. It's so painful. It is one of the most painful things I've experienced. I mean, I've broken arms. I've been bit by dogs where the tooth has gone through my hand or, through my arm. And nothing is more painful than gout if you've never had it. And so I could not be happier that it helped me with that.
Yeah,
but
gout.
Go ahead.
Well, gout is a form of arthritis.
Yeah, and so I wasn't looking forward to going through it. It's again just one of those things that I was just dreading, because when it begins, I know what's going to happen. This is the first time I've ever been able to stop it. I've iced my foot. I've put compresses. I've done all this other kind of stuff that you would do if you hurt yourself. None of it works. It happens and it just goes to its full extent until I get meds that make it go away. So I couldn't have been happier. What's wrong with old crotchety guys with gout? I resemble that remark. Sorry about that, Rich. And Rich, by the way, my real name is Andre, not Andrew. Just to kind of set you straight on that one. But yeah, sorry about that, Rich. But what I was telling, I think you came on a little bit late, but what I was talking about is that I use this substance here. It's called Relief. It has a CBD oil in it. It's a rub that you put on where you have pain and discomfort. It has completely helped me with my shoulder and neck problems in regard to pain. And so I have no longer have pain there. And so and I don't even know why I didn't think about it on the sense that it was going to help me. But I just thought, well, now I'm putting CBD oil on everything because I've had that a little bit of psoriasis that I've had in my side probably for about 6 or 7 years that I just cannot get rid of. I've tried all the solutions that the doctors give me. I've tried all the over-the-counter stuff and it would not go away. It is now gone because I put Relief on there and it's disappeared, and sometimes CBD oil directly on it, and that is gone. So now I'm putting it on just about everything. I'm going to put it on my bald spot to see if it'll grow my hair back. Have you heard anything about that, Matthew? About balding?
No, I haven't heard anything about that.
All right. Well, I'm going to give it a shot. I mean, why not? It's so far I'm hitting 100% on everything that I'm trying it for, and it seems to be working. But have I missed anything, at least on this broadcast? I kind of want to stay focused. I know that sometimes I kind of go all over the place, but we talked about inflammation. We talked about why it works. You've shared a little bit of the history about that we find out when we're lacking something, that as we add it to our diet, whether it's a fruit or vegetable, those things seem to be able to help. So it makes sense that adding this to our diet, in a sense, is helping us. But have I missed anything that kind of stays in line with this discussion?
No, I mean you always do a great job, Andy. It's amazing what you have learned over the time, and it's been an absolute pleasure and an honor to work with you.
I appreciate it. It's been. I mean, you're always there, and again, those of you that will could possibly ask me a question in Messenger, almost always I connect you with Matthew, because I know that
Andy.
he'll give you the right answer. Yes.
And, come here. My wife.
I don't want to be on camera.
You don't have to.
You're not on camera.
My wife. She was a manager for Vitamin World for 20 years, and she's very, very knowledgeable in this area. She wanted to say something about inflammation.
Sure.
Well, it's going back to the sarcoidosis. It's actually in a family of autoimmune diseases that include rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, and lupus, and some of the other ones that are rheumatoid in nature. And from what I found, the reason that I believe the sarcoidosis helped, with the
Peggy.
person in Peggy in your testimony is because it does help control inflammation.
Wow.
And that's actually, inflammation is found to be the leading cause of many diseases, including heart disease and cancer. And if you can get the inflammation at bay, then a lot of the symptoms of whatever it is, your ailment will go away too. So that's all I wanted to say about that. There's a definite tie between certain autoimmune diseases and inflammation. And if it helped with sarcoidosis, it could probably help with some of the other inflammatory autoimmune diseases as well.
Well, that was really helpful. I'm glad you came on because when you put it that way, it makes sense why it's helping with so many different things. Right? It's the difficult aspect of just thinking that whenever I get prescribed a pharmaceutical, it's pointed at just one thing. And then usually you have those, the list of how it affects negatively on all these other things, right? You no longer, can you see, or or it may give you a stroke and a heart attack and all this other kind of stuff. But never in this way. The side effects of CBD oil is that it helps you with so many things, as opposed to a negative side effect of pharmaceuticals.
And I don't think it's a coincidence at all, like that, like what I said earlier, how all of a sudden these autoimmune diseases started to perk up about the time that hemp was taken completely and 100% off the market in all ways. And that's where like I said, I honestly think that was the beginning of the end for all of us as far as our health.
Right. Well, yeah, I'm, just as always, I'm learning a ton of stuff from you, and now I'm learning stuff from your wife.
He's awesome.
Yeah, and really, really quick, if you don't mind, would you share a little bit about you? This obviously is something you were doing before. You heard my story that I was, had prostate cancer, that I was looking for some solutions, and you came in contact with me and suggested that I give this a try. But one of the things that I really am so happy that it helped me with, and that's my anxiety. And my daughter was recently on a broadcast that I did, and she talked about how she's seen the change on how I deal with stress and that kind of stuff. You've had a very similar experience. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. When Michelle and I first started taking it, we bought one bottle. Okay. We wanted to see if it worked first.
Yeah. And
the bottle lasted about 2 weeks. But the funny part was, Michelle and I have been married 28 years. Okay. And like your typical couples, we have our fights. Yeah. We have our bickers. We have our disagreements and all that stuff. And some of them used to be, and I'm sad to say, because of my issues with my past, such as PTSD, and the same with Michelle, some of these arguments got pretty heated. I'm ashamed to say that. Yeah, I'm the one I'm that person who put holes in the walls.
Yep.
And also, after the 2 weeks were up, something we did not notice at the time. And what we didn't notice is that we had our little bickers, the little disagreements, but nothing explosive, nothing heated. We did not notice that we weren't fighting. We didn't notice it. And it wasn't because we were blind. It's supposed to be because we were tired.
Yeah.
But then we ran out. After 2 weeks, we ran out. And on day 3 of no oil, we got into a fight, a really harsh words, slamming doors. I got mad. I got out of the car and slammed the door and was walking away. But I noticed as I was entering the store that I was limping and I was in more pain than I knew what I could deal with. And then that's when a light bulb went off. And I went, holy crap, this stuff works. I'm in pain. I haven't had this stuff in 3 days. And I got what I wanted to get. I limped back to the car, and I'm not kidding. I mean, I was in a lot of pain. I got in the car, and before I could say anything, Michelle goes, Matthew, this is crazy. This stuff works.
Yep.
Because it was at that point that she also noticed that we haven't been fighting for 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden we're out, and it was back to square one. It was back to, we were hurt. We were both in pain. We were stressed out. We were fighting, et cetera, et cetera. And that was when we both made a commitment to never run out of this oil again.
Yeah, go on auto ship. Make sure that you click that little slide.
We order 4 bottles. We're up to ordering 4 bottles a month. But the funny part is that we each take a bottle, and 2 people found out we had it, and they demanded that we sell it to them. So now I've got to hurry up this in the next week or 2 and order some more. Yeah, because I can't hold on to it. If people find out that we have it, they fork out the cash and say we want that bottle.
Right. I don't know if you heard me the other day, but I talked about somebody who said that they ran out and they had a friend who had a dog that was on HempWorks. And so they went over there and took the dog's bacon flavored HempWorks because they too had experienced what it's like not to have it around. And so, so they took that instead. 2 things, come to my mind as you were talking, and it is so difficult, I think, sometimes for you and I, and especially coming from a police background, that kind of, to share these kinds of stories that shows your vulnerability and the things that you just don't often share, right? It's not often that you get on a Facebook Live where you potentially could be speaking to billions of people and saying that, hey, I was an angry person. I punched holes in the walls, and my wife and I used to fight. And so I appreciate that. I know that that's not easy to do. It wasn't easy to do, to come on and talk about my gout or my cancer or my high blood pressure, or that I, lost my temper, And so I want to tell you how much I appreciate that you went ahead and did that, because there's people that need to hear the story and need to know what level you're at.
Absolutely. And on that, when you said blood pressure, and I agree with you 100%. Do you know how hard it is? I mean, your blood pressure was high, but
yeah,
I'm sitting there telling people that my blood pressure, when I tell people my blood pressure was 180 over 135, I feel stupid.
Yeah,
I feel like that's insane. That's a heart attack. That's a stroke waiting to happen.
Yeah. Well, I've gone to Kaiser just to have it checked, and they in the past they wouldn't let me leave. They said, you need to stay here, and we're going to call a doctor and make sure it's okay for you to leave. Almost every time I took my blood pressure, they had to get a doctor to give me permission to leave after taking my blood pressure. That's how bad it had been for years, since my 20s. Not since I just 10 years ago. No, since my 20s, I've had bad high blood pressure. The other thing that comes to mind is that when you are dealing with stress on a regular basis and you're holding it in, sometimes you're not. I know that it's just overall, right? And everybody knows, it's common knowledge that it affects you in so many unhealthy ways, that if you can get control of that stress and that anxiety and those moments of blowing up. I remember one time I was yelling at one of my ex-wives. I forget which one. on the phone, like, how dare you, you know? And I went I think just because I needed something else to draw my attention. I bent over to pick up an empty cardboard box that was about 4 inches by 4 inches square, empty cardboard box. I went to pick it up, and when I picked it up, my back completely went out. I hit the ground like a ton of bricks, and I could not get up. My back completely went out in picking up that box. And it wasn't because I played hockey. I was training police dogs that were hitting me at 20 miles an hour that were 80 to 120 pounds. I was healthy. I was athletic. It wasn't because I was, not, taking care of myself. It was because of the stress. It was because of the anxiety that I was in the level of stress that I was at that moment that caused that. And so just again, if I were to pick one thing, I would be taking CBD oil. I mean, one thing that it helped me with. It helps me with the anxiety, the blood pressure, the sleeping, all those things. But that anxiety and that stress that is now, for me, I can tell you that it's virtually gone, right? I have the day-to-day stress just being alive, right? But the extra stress, the stress of just, of what I've been through in relationship to being a police officer, the divorces, the financial stress of running your own business, that is just almost nothing to me right now. And so I love that about what I'm doing with the CBD oil and the effect that it's had with me. So sorry, go on a little bit of a rant there, but just listening to you talk, I'm thinking about, gosh, it's just so. And again, you're going through some stuff right now personally that I'm sure that it's helping with too. And again, it's if not for the CBD oil, it would be affecting your health also.
I agree.
Sorry, went on the whole thing and then ended on you. All right, so I really did not expect to come on and talk for almost an hour. I really just wanted to talk about gout and kind of let that out because I'm telling you, it was amazing. So if any of you have suffered from gout, relief might be that thing that you need. Again, there's a disclaimer that's in this broadcast. We may post it again, that anything that I've said or that Matthew has said has not been looked at by the FDA and approved, as far as what we've been saying. But I'm telling you that I'm just giving you my experience and what I'm feeling and what it's helping me with. And that's all I can do. Just tell you what's going on with me.
And real quick, Andy.
Yep.
And this is to everybody. There, Andy put up a link on HempWorks up there. Do not click on that. Please do not click on that.
I keep clicking on the wrong one.
No, but that's that link. When you put it in there, it's separated to today's CBD oil. So if they click on that, it'll go to a completely different site, and you will never see them. Oh. So, yeah, do not click on that link. So if you could either delete it or whatever, get rid of that link because that's a bad link.
I have notes from other broadcasts that I actually have to remember to take those out. And what I do is, while I'm broadcasting, I don't pay attention. I'm trying to do 5 things at the same time. There, I took it out. Sorry about that. And so I'm just cutting and pasting and doing things without thinking through it all the way. All right, so that's out. Thank you for pointing that out.
About that, call me after you're finished.
Okay, I got the call coming from Netflix right now, so I got to get off, and so I can hopefully land a documentary with Netflix. That would be awesome. All right, Matthew, thank you for joining me, and all of you that came on, Rich and Jason and whoever else. There was a bunch of other people that came on. I really appreciate Trina. Thank you for coming on and watching. Make sure and share. And Daniel, make sure and share if you know anybody that could benefit from what we were talking about today. Go ahead and share that on your page or share that to them directly in a message. That would be awesome. I really appreciate it. All right, that's it for me. Again, thank you, Matthew, for joining me. And your wife. Your wife's name is, remind me.
Michelle.
What is that?
Michelle.
Yeah. That should be easy. Remember Matthew, Michelle. And thank you for joining me and adding your knowledge to what it was we were talking about today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye.